this evening. This is Anthony Powers. This is Togetherness Media, and we have an amazing show for you today. We are going to be talking about the power of words, how they break, how they build, and how to use them to manifest the things you want in your life and have the life you want. And guess what? We have an amazing guest with us today to help us with the conversation on this topic. We have Dr. Man, let me break it down first. We have the empathetic, the intelligent, the caring, the knowledgeable, the lovely Dr. Foojan Zeine. Let me set it up right. Hello, doctor.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm divine. How are you?
I love it when you say I'm divine. I'm doing wonderful. I love it. I'm really grateful today.
Nice. Yeah, it's gratitude. Gratitude will always make the day a more beautiful day, no matter what your mood. Gratitude can can instantly switch the feelings and the emotions in your entire system. So it's a beautiful way to live, and it's a beautiful way to increase your vibration.
Absolutely. I came back from work and from my office, and I was exhausted, and I wanted to build kind of like a momentum and energy. And YouTube has amazing music with like 528 hertz that you
Hurts.
could just
Yeah.
put it, yeah, and you can put in for abundance, and you can put in for
Yeah.
kind of like just love and healing energy, and then
Yeah.
just like
520. Yeah, 528 is one of the suffragial frequencies. It's the medium one. There are so many amazing frequencies for different things. I mean, if you get the time to actually maybe do a video that actually has all nine suffragial frequencies in it, and then you get a full mind, body, spiritual healing from 174, 285, 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, 852, and 963. And in addition
wow.
to those, and it like in 963 is the God frequency. In addition to those, there's the 111, 888, 432, which is the frequency that the universe vibrates at, which is an amazing one as well. So all of those are gorgeous frequencies to help with your life. And there's amazing sleep frequencies too, like amazing videos for sleeping that will also increase theta waves as well. That'll help you while you sleep, and will also help for meditating while you sleep with those sounds and vibrations.
Yes. So I really recommend for people to utilize these tools when they just
Yes.
want to like either go to sleep, calm their anxiety down, they want to, stay up or just have it in a background. Sometimes it's just I
Yes.
want those things in the background where it elevates me as I'm around the house or watch, or talk to clients or any of it. And I think people need to
Mm-hmm.
really utilize those type of tools that are there for them for
Exactly.
free. So words,
Exactly.
words. Let's
I
talk about
use them while I meditate.
words.
Yes, I use them while I meditate and while I sleep. But I definitely include the recommendation. Words, the power of words. The like the very first part, the way the Bible starts is in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And the power of words are so essential because, as you know, in Zoroastrianism, uh, think good, speak good, do good. So like the power of words are so essential, and the way we utilize them. And I would love to hear your takes.
Well, I think that as a child, as we open, kind of even in our mother's womb, we are getting communicated one way or another. Beside the emotional energy that we receive, we hear words, and
Mm-hmm.
we in knowing and learning, understanding through words, and obviously
Yes.
we utilize those in self-talk also. So not only we're using them internally with ourselves, and we're building belief systems and a whole series of stories in our head based on words. So I think it's important for us to be aware of how we are using the words, whether it is in relationship with ourselves or in relationship with others. Are we
Mm-hmm.
utilizing it to motivate and heal and promote and create and generate, or are we using it to destroy and humiliate and belittle, and create, manipulate? People do a lot of word manipulation, or
Yeah.
manipulate or lie. So the point is that I think people really need to know what the consequences of their words are.
Mm.
Many people utilize words so subconsciously that it's as if, okay, my actions have consequences, and they don't see words as action. Words are
Yeah.
action. So words are
Yes, they
actually
are.
the combination of our thoughts, the combination of our feelings, combination of our intentions, the story we have in our mind, and the way that we either communicate to ourselves or to the world is through that vehicle. So the vehicle itself, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to know in what context we're using them and be responsible and accountable for the way we use our words, either whether it's toward ourselves or other people.
Yes. Just like in 80s and 90s hip hop, people used to say word up, or lifting you up. I get on my friends a lot. Like there's like especially some of my younger friends, like the generation, like millennials have a term. They're like, oh, I'm dead. Like when they're going like no, you're not dead, you're alive. Or I get on my cousin, I love you to death. No, love me to life. And I hardly ever say I have problems. I'll say I have challenges. And there are slight subtleties and slight differences. You can use your words to uplift yourself, and always speak life. I tell people, speak life, don't speak death. The words after I am, never use anything negative after the words I am. People say things like, I am stupid. No, you made a stupid mistake. You did something that was dumb, but you are not stupid. Like people say, I've even stopped using the term I am sorry. I will say I apologize, or ask for forgiveness, because I don't even like the word like like anything after the word I am is so essential to our self worth, just mind perceives ourselves, and that way that subconscious creates a reality for us. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I also want to make sure that the same way you're talking about bringing to consciousness and becoming aware of how we use those words in creativity and generativity, such as if I'm utilizing the word problem, or I'm utilizing the word death or destruction or any of that, is a possibility of creativity or creation of it, actually, and actualizing it, manifesting it. And therefore, attempting to utilize positive words in order to create those types of manifestation instead of the negative ones. I also want to
Exactly.
reiterate what we do with our words in our relationships, and being responsible in how we create those and generate those types of relationships. Many times, obviously, I
Hmm.
see family members, or couples, or mother, father, and child, and you could see with words how you could kind of like tear someone apart, or build them.
Yes.
You can tear a relationship
Yeah.
apart or build it. And I think that that type of awareness and accountability about what is my intention in this relationship and how would I utilize it regardless of my emotions. I can be angry and even share my anger through my
Hmm.
words and even through my body language. But to be aware of what words I'm using, even though I'm angry, sad, or any of those emotions that
Hmm.
sometimes I'm trying to reflect and share with others. And, people say things that whatever they want, and they're like, well, I was angry, as if that's the justification. And it's like, when
Exactly.
stop me in order for me to be angry, I can't control my anger. Well, nobody's trying for you to control your anger. I'm
Yeah.
saying control your words, not your anger.
Exactly.
You can feel your anger, you can honor your anger, you can share your anger in a way that is constructive and it doesn't destroy yourself and the relationships. And that is when you look at the words as the vehicle to
Yeah.
creation of something, then you're going to utilize those words in an appropriate way. The same way, like you have a car that is going to take you from somewhere to another, and you can, use it as a weapon of mass destruction and kill everybody or kill yourself, or you can utilize your car to take you from a place to another and make you grow. That's how I mean by using the words.
Hmm. Exactly, I agree. One of the biggest falsehoods that we're taught as a kid is that thing: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yes, words can hurt you, and they will often hurt others as well. Nietzsche once said that propaganda is more dangerous than coercive force, because for a while, coercive force attacks the body, propaganda attacks the mind. And that's the thing, is that people need to understand, is that you may not be physically abusive to somebody, but the verbal abuse that you do to somebody may actually take longer to heal than the physical abuse. Like, you could hit somebody in the shoulder and the bruise will heal in a few days. But you can hit somebody in the mind with your words, and that injury may last for years. So it's really important to make sure that we don't use our words as weapons, like you said, to use our that builds instead of breaks, that heals instead of hurting.
The part that you said, how many people have actually come to my office and said, I wish he or she would hit me. That I could tolerate. But the way that they use their words
Hmm.
um, stings so bad and so deep. And then, unfortunately, then we believe it. Like when somebody says something to us, if we also are sensitive about it and a little bit vulnerable, we take it in and we believe in what is it that other people are reflecting upon us. So it's also looking at and being aware of how are we taking words from other people and kind of like sticking it like a label to ourselves, and that it might not be fair to us
Hmm.
if we're going and taking whatever is happening out there, and then being aware of what
Yeah.
kind of propaganda or conversations are out there that are not useful to me, and I don't need to spend my time in addressing them or entertaining them because they are they're poison. If somebody's
Yeah.
constantly bad mouthing or doing something that is bringing toxic into the air, the same way, if you have toxin in the air and you're going to start coughing and it's going to be hard on your body, when people are doing the toxic conversation around you constantly, this is what's going to happen to you. You're physically are you going to get sick, and your mentality is going to get ill because if you begin put
Hmm.
yourself in positions too much, you're going to begin believing these toxic conversations, whether
Exactly.
they're you or they're about your family members or they're about the community or whatever that information that is coming that might be toxic to you. So the distinction about how important words are, and
Hmm.
that words create the storyline of how and who we are and how we live, then it is our responsibility to be very cautious about
Yes.
how we use the words and how we receive the words and take them in. So if you find yourself in a position that the environment you're in, the messages that are constantly coming through your social media, the internet that is popping things at you, or there that you are feeling sick, like you're feeling this is not the right things for me, be aware of what's happening for you and
Hmm.
begin kind of like shuffling around and looking at what is a conversation that makes you healthy, what is a
Yes,
conversation that
exactly.
forward, and start learning and picking those up and conversing about them. If they are
Yeah.
conversations that are constantly anger producing, hatred producing, whether they're about yourself, such as what you said, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that, or it's about other people, oh, she's this or that, any of those, begin
Hmm.
reframing using those types of conversations, and you'll see how much you'll minimize the feelings of anger and hatred and
Yeah.
guilt and all those that are uncomfortable.
Exactly. Just on a when you were talking about health, there's one thing is even when I had COVID, would never use the word I'm sick. I would use like I when I describe it, I say I tested positive for COVID, and that's one reason I never actually didn't get. I was basically asymptomatic, I believe, as well because of my words. And in order for people to truly see the power of words on the micro level in their individual lives. They must look at the power of words on the macro level as well. The great teachers, all of the great teachers who have come through time, whose words have passed down, where so many people who had physical power and strength, their uh, their legacy have been diminished. The way great speeches like "I have a dream today," like or ask not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. Fear itself, how those were the world for a better, and how Hitler took over Germany, and his words uh, like did things for the negative. Now, if words could have that impact globally on the macro level, our words in our micro level of our own individual lives have just as much power on the influence of our lives and those around us. So it's really essential for us to pay attention, to pay attention. It's just at a smaller level, but it still has the same impact. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Not only that those have impact, but I think that when you think that you internally you talk to yourself and you put yourself down and you create those type of hatred, then people such
Hmm.
as Hitler or such as those group that are manipulating with their words in order to create destruction, then you get sucked in. So sometimes
Mm.
you look at, well, it's not only one person. Who are these
Yeah.
followers that are
Yeah.
buying these words? And then you're looking at, maybe you're also vulnerable. Maybe you put yourself into those vulnerability. Maybe you vibrate because of those words in that type of vibration of anger and hatred. And if you're vibrating on the concept of hatred, obviously if there are other people out there who are throwing words at you that create destruction, you're going to join them because you think I'm part of the same pact of destruction. And then
Yeah.
you know but you are destroying yourself and your environment and your surrounding. So that's the
Hmm.
concept that yes, words are important and they're powerful. So use them
Hmm.
powerfully for constructing something great versus destruction, because it can be used for both, and we've seen it in history being used constantly on both grounds. And it's okay
Exactly.
to have your opinion. It's okay to have your sharing, but what are you doing with it? There isn't a day, Anthony, that I don't have couples in my office. These are people who tried to, got together, promised each other a love, and then throughout the day use their words in a way that stabs the other person.
Mm.
It's like, well, how come my marriage isn't working? Look at how you talk to your mate, how even you
Mm.
talk about your mate in your own head. If you're
Yeah.
constantly bad mouthing your mate in your own head and you're creating a monster out of him or her in your own head, how do you
Yeah.
think you react verbally out there, and your whole demeanor and the creation of that kind of a relationship you're going to create? So it's important to be aware of the way we think, and we think through words.
Hmm.
And
I
what
have a
is the
question. So I was raised by my grandmother and great grandmother, and on the other side, my grandfather was a huge influence on me. And, and so much, a lot of my ideologies and a lot of the things I do are based on their actions, but also certain quotes, certain words, and certain quotes and certain speeches that are stuck in my head as lessons. How important is it? I know you deal with a lot of families. How important is it, and how often do people not pay enough attention to the words they use when dealing with their children?
I think they don't. I really don't think. I think people think that they pay attention to their words when they're talking to their kids. They're not paying attention that they're talking
Mm,
while their kids are also in the environment. So they also
mm,
listen to you. Because when you're there cooking or on the phone or, mowing the lawn or whatever it is you're doing and talking, you're talking to your friends, you're talking to your mate, and your kids are around, they hear every word. So it's not just when I choose to talk to my child. I say these things, and obviously I'm being a great parent. Yes, but being a great parent is also creating the environment that you have for them, and you
Mm,
also create that environment through the words. So the way you talk to yourself is the way your child also learns to talk to themselves. The way you talk to
mm-hmm.
them, they take it in, they interject it, they make it their own. That becomes the dialogue that it's in their head. The way that you talk in the environment, they pick up the same type of conversation. So they do need to become aware. Part of the parenting skills that we're constantly teaching and trying to have parents to be aware are exactly the way they think and feel, and the way they behave, not only when they are directly doing, teachings or redirecting their child, but also the way that they are all day in their own environment while their child is present. It's more like, if you want them to be a particular way, you first got to be that way. And if you can't
Yeah,
be that way, they're going to look at you and be the way you are, not the way you talked. So
yeah,
the way you are is also your words toward yourself. So it's not,
exactly.
unless you're coming up with a split where you're going to say different things to yourself and act them, but then you purposely, have learned a couple of sentences to say it outward. But those, if it's not part
Mm-hmm.
of who you are and who you live, your child also gets split off, which they behave a
Yeah.
particular way and they're not noticing, but they'll, use a couple of sentences as if that's the truth. This, to make it easy, how many people, all of you who are with us know, that if you ask them, do you lie? They're like, no, I'm very honest.
Yeah.
And then if you actually calculate all the time that they lied during that day, you probably find 10 or more times that they lied,
Hmm.
but they're not
Yeah.
aware of it.
Yeah. Well, I say that we are wired through our words, and just to pick some on what you there was another thing in hip hop where we'd always say word is bond. Like your word is much like and then and I'm a huge movie buff, so I'm gonna go to Scarface. I only have two things in this world: my word and my boss, and I don't break either for anybody. So like it's really essential to utilize that aspect in
Very
what we're
much.
doing because words are create and if we don't and if we break our word too often, then it actually diminishes our power of creativity, because our power of manifesting, because like you're breaking a chain, you're breaking one of the chains in the assembly line for manifesting the reality that you're trying to manifest.
Also, if you break your words too many times, people will not trust you. You will lose the trust, not of yourself. You will lose the trust of yourself toward yourself. And remember how many times
Exactly.
people said, I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to lose weight. I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not
Hmm.
going to do that. And they broke their own words. So one, you build,
Yes.
you get low self-confidence for you because you can't trust yourself. And then if you keep breaking your words,
Exactly.
everybody's going to lose trust in you. You're going to lose your credibility with people. And all we've got pretty much is our reputation and credibility when we're creating relationships with people. That's
Yeah.
where is the essence, that when you break off relationships, with you not honoring your own words to yourself nor
Hmm.
to other people.
Yes. All right. So our time is almost up for the day. I'd love to get your last word on this subject.
I want to suggest for people, if they can begin journaling. If you don't like writing, at least
Hmm.
audio record yourself and then go back and listen to it sometimes. I think it's important for us to create the same way we put a mirror in front of our face to look at what our face looks like, what our hair looks like. sometimes we're not aware of the words that we're kind of like thinking or talking about. When you journal, you
Mm,
actually watch these words coming through. And then you can kind
mm,
of become aware, and that's where change can happen and awareness can happen.
mm.
Put a red, kind of like a red mark beside the negative ones or the things you don't like in the words, and positive ones put a blue or whatever color you choose. And then watch yourself every day to be aware of minimizing the negative ones or the ones you don't like, and maximizing the types of words that you want. And begin a conscious practice in what it is that you
Yeah.
want to say in your own head or outside. The other part is, don't
Yes.
promise things to other people nor to yourself that you're not committed to keep, because again you are dismissing the power of your words. So say it,
Yes.
commit to it, and structure it so that you can get what it is and generate and create what it is you want to do that. And then with that also,
Yeah.
when you say it to other people, that's how you create amazing, committed, and trustworthy relationships with others.
Yes, I agree with all of those points. And also, one thing I would add is even as you speak, uh, don't be afraid to self-correct yourself with your speech in the middle of a speech, and also help those that you love and those you're around when they use speech that's negative towards themselves, that brings them down on a subliminal level. Tell people where they can find you, Doc.
Foojan.com, Foojan.com, and any of the social media. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine in all of the social medias.
Dr. Foojan Zain, thank you once again for a lovely, 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 enlightening conversation. I know that it was so beautiful, and I hope, and I know without a doubt that it helped somebody out there, and I know that it helped me as well. So thank you so much.
It was great pleasure to be with you again today. See you next week.
Likewise, have a beautiful week.
You too.
This is Anthony Powers. Thank you. This is Anthony Powers. This is Togetherness Media. Everybody who's watching us all over the planet, thank you so much. Everybody who gives their time. Hey, and don't forget, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to our website. Download the app, available on all platforms, and click those notification buttons on all of our social media. We have so much stuff coming up for you guys. We got music from Jason Farnham, and we have so many other shows. This is Togetherness Media. Always want to remind you, remember, be divine. You are loved.
Togetherness Media. Togethernessmedia.com.